to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Hey everybody, it's episode 20. Wow, 20 already, okay. Of Star Trek, the original series. Last time we had a time travel episode. It was sort of a time travel episode. Well, no, it was the literal definition of a time travel episode. We travelled through time, back, then back again, then forward. We went back twice and forward once. We did. You don't believe me? That's how it happened. And we beamed people into their own bodies. I like the main guy in the last episode. He had a bit of a personality to him. Someone commented that on Patreon that it would have been interesting to keep him around on the ship as another character, as a little bit of a perspective on a 20th century perspective on what's going on. And I think that would have worked quite well. I can imagine it working quite well. And I like the way he didn't take any... He wasn't bowing down to the 23rd century crew or anything like that. He was his own man and he was making his own decisions. And he was a bit too loyal, if you know what I mean. But in the end, he forgot everything that happened. But his son's going to grow up to be a great person. His daughters, they don't matter. Isn't that right, Spock? They don't contribute anything at all. And his wife, let's not even talk about his wife. In other news, the other guy in the episode, Mr. Shocked, he was the highlight. He was my favourite. Oh, I have to look up his name if he has a name. Not that we'll see him again, unless we go back there again. But yeah, he was the comic highlight for me. We had some nerve pinches. We had some one-chop takedowns. Remember the next time somebody's in a fight. Like, remember how long the Kirk Finnegan fight took? If you just used the one-chop, it would have been done. It would have been done. It doesn't matter how many guys there are. If there's 3 guys, 3 chops. You're done. Remember that for future fights. This one's called Court Martial. It sounds less actiony and more cerebral, or more mysterious. Who's being court-martialed and why? What's happened? The last time we had a court-martial was for Spock. But turned out one of those guys... Nah, I'm not going to spoil it. But it turned out one of those guys. Also, watch chronologically. Stop watching backwards in time. I know sometimes recommendations pop up randomly, but can't do that. Can't do that. I reference stuff that I watch in the past all the time. You know, like The Twilight Zone. It's never safe. Never safe. Oh.
Captain's log. We have been through a severe ion storm. 1 crewman is dead. Ship's damage is considerable. I have ordered a non-scheduled layover on Starbase 11 for repairs. A full report of damage...
Hey, Starbase 11, isn't Starbase 11 the same Starbase that we were on in the Menagerie? With the huge, giant planet. Remember, I love that background. It had the same sort of glowy sky as well at night. I think it was Starbase 11. I could be wrong. It could be Starbase 10 or something around that anyway. You know what? I don't need to guess. I can just look it up. Let's bring up the Menagerie, shall we? We're breaking all the rules. We're breaking the rules of reactions. I wondered that actually recently. I was like, everybody does it the same way. Everybody sort of does it the same way. Well, what if we shake things up a bit? What if we don't do it the same way? And then I was out of ideas. I was like, oh, what do you mean do it a different way? Like what? Stand in your head? The Menagerie is episode 11, so Starbase. Maybe I was mixing up the Starbase with the episode number. Let's bring it up. She gets the music immediately, doesn't she? If you recall. Get out of here, guys. No music for you. What Starbase is this, Mrs. Walkoff?
Welcome to Starbase 11, Captain.
11! You don't get to walk off now. Get out of here. No, don't get out of here. I'm the one getting out of here. I remember Kirk gives her a grin as well when she's walking off. What other episode do you want to watch that we've already seen? Not the cage. Not the cage. I've seen it too many times now. There's only so many things you can say. So many things you can say about the same thing. Isn't there? Although I've just realised how fun a rewatch would be with knowledge of what's to come. You know, if that couple of minutes was anything to go by. Anyway, we're back. We're back. What's his face? Is she going to be here? Is the other guy going to be here? What's his name? Commander Grumpfeld? I don't know. It's not in there. It's not in there.
The commanding officer of Starbase 11, Commodore Stone.
That's not you. Well, you are Stone, but you're not.
Section 18. Reschedule. The Enterprise is on priority 1.
Great.
Is there an error?
No, but the death of a crewman.
It's the Iron Storm, right? That did it?
Any extract from your ship's computer log confirming this sworn deposition?
Where's Mr. Spock with that computer log extract?
We should have been there 10 minutes ago, sir.
Where's Spock?
The service can't afford to lose men like Lieutenant Commander Finney.
Finney.
I waited until the last possible moment. We were on red alert. The storm got worse. I had to jettison the pod.
Okay. This is a pause for story reasons. Why do we care about how it went down? Because Kirk is going to be court-martialed for there's going to be it's not going to go down the way. There's somebody in the YouTube comments right now calling me Sherlock. I know. There's somebody. He's going to be court-martialed. They're going to say it went down a different way. Evidence is going to show that it went down a different way, but that evidence has been tampered with or something like that. Right? Now I want to listen to what he said now. How he thinks it went down. Right, he had to wait till the last moment. He said he waited till the last moment. They were at red alert. He had to jettison the pod. Right. Spock was supposed to be here 10 minutes ago with the log. What does this log say, Spock? Don't believe anything you see, and less of what you hear, and none of what you dream about. I don't know the phrase. Oh! They got a small one.
What took you so long, Mr. Spock?
Captain, I believe I'll take that.
I'll take this damning evidence. Spock was triple checking it. Probably. Oh, hello.
There you are.
She's supposed to be young.
I just wanted one more look at you.
This woman's like 27 years old.
The man who killed my father. You hated him
I
all
would
your
no sooner
life, and
hurt your
that's why
father
you
than I
killed
would
him.
Hated him all his life. Well, she thinks.
You say you jettisoned the pod after the red alert?
After the red
You have
alert.
my sworn deposition.
Captain, I must presume you have committed willful perjury.
What?
This extract from your computer log says you jettisoned the pod before going to red alert. Consider yourself confined to the base.
I didn't like him, Stone. First chance I took. Anywhere he was near a... You know how many times I've been telling the captain to kick people off his bridge? Kick him out an airlock? Well, he had an opportunity, you see. Finney. Reminded him of Finnegan from his old academy days. Look, he's in that pod. He's in that pod. I could just do it. I'll just say it was red alert, and I had no choice. It was the last moment. It was an ion storm. See you later, Finney. I didn't like you. I didn't like your daughter. Who is messing? That means there's somebody on the ship messing with the log, maybe? What's going on? Or it was a mistake. Spock will get to the bottom of it.
Commander Finney can be conducted.
Yeah, nice bar.
I see our graduating class from the academy is well represented.
Oh, is Finnegan here?
Oregon. How you doing, Mike?
I'll get by, Jim.
Laying over for repairs.
Yeah.
Big job?
Couple of days. In a hurry to see me go?
Oh,
He's
I
on the
just
brandy.
wondered how long it would take you to get a new records officer.
You can talk plainer than that.
But I think the point's been made. Ben was a friend of ours.
Oh,
Come on, Jim, let's go on, finish.
shit.
Ben was a friend of yours, and Jim.
And? No, let him finish. I'm curious too.
I'm waiting to hear the rest.
Why don't you tell us?
What are you talking about?
What would be the point? You've already made up your mind.
Well, apparently they have. And we're stopping it. Not just for this episode, but for Galileo 7, for instance. And any episode where anybody on the bridge speaks up and trash talks either Spock or the captain. What is with the attitudes of people in the future? You know? I know this guy was apparently... Ben Finney was apparently the best friend of everybody in this bar. He was the best guy. Everybody loved him. And his daughter's been spreading shit about Kirk. But Kirk is a captain of the flagship of the fleet with a proven record. Why are they... What do they... They think he just killed Ben because they heard he didn't like him? Is that what they think? Because these people need to have some, I don't know, some sort of brain transplant, or they need to go to the planet of the Dagger of the Mind. You know, they need to go 7,000 feet underground and have their minds something done to them, because I've had enough of their backtalk. I've had enough of their suggestions and their insinuations. And Doc, I know you're enjoying your brandy, but hey, where'd your brandy go? You finished it already. No, Doc, he's just here for the booze. He didn't need to come off the ship, you know? He was like, I hear they have good booze in this bar. They just got there. Wait a second, didn't they just walk in the door? Where'd they get that drink from? Anyway, this has been a funny pause. Of course, the first two people he bumps into are the best friends of the guy who died, and they blame Kirk for it because that's what the plot decided. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to stop and pause and rant about it. Anyway, let's get back to it. I'm enjoying it so far. You've heard me talk more than you've actually seen the episode. I know.
Excuse me, Bob.
Let's get out of here. Take your drink. Get the bottle. Oh, who's she? She's got a bit of
If
music.
you have any doubt, that was indeed Captain James Kirk of the Enterprise. Dr. Leonard McCoy. And you?
Ariel Shaw. And I'm a friend too. An old one.
It's the theme tune.
All of my old friends look like doctors. All of his look like you. With this inquiry coming up, he's going to need all of the friends he can get.
Yeah, smooth, Doc. Smooth.
This inquiry to determine whether a general court-martial should be convened against Captain Kirk.
Well, that is the title.
Let us begin with your relationship with Commander Finney.
He was an instructor at the academy when I was a midshipman. That didn't stand in the way of our beginning a close friendship.
Friendship. I heard you hated him.
We were assigned to the same ship some years later. I relieved him on watch once and found a circuit open to the atomic matter piles that should have been closed.
Oh, endangered the ship.
Could have blown up the ship. He drew a reprimand and was sent to the bottom of the promotion list.
Right.
And he blamed you for that?
I'll tell you, Stone is well named. Stone is well named.
Now let's get into the specifics of the storm, Captain.
I sent Finney into the pod.
Why Finney?
His name was at the top of the duty roster.
If he blamed you...
And I don't assign jobs on the basis of who blames me.
Yeah.
It was Finney's turn, and I assigned him. I signaled a yellow alert.
Okay.
Then we began encountering pressure, variance, stress, force.
Are we going to see any of it?
Finally signaled a red alert. Finney knew he had a matter of seconds. I gave him those seconds, and more.
Can the bridge crew attest to all this? They were there, right?
Could the computer be wrong?
Mr. Spock is running a survey right now, but the odds are next to impossible.
Stop recording.
Off the record.
Let me bury the matter here now. No starship captain has ever stood trial before, and I don't want you to be the first.
But if what you suspect is true, then I'm guilty. I should be punished.
I'm thinking of this service. I won't have it smeared
By what? Commodore Stone.
by an evident perjurer who is either covering up his bad judgment, his cowardice, or something
That's as
even worse.
far as you go,
Cowardice,
sir.
mister.
I know what happened. I know what I did.
Computer transcripts don't lie. Captain, either you accept a permanent ground assignment or
Permanent
the whole
ground.
disciplinary weight of Starfleet Command is going to light right on your neck.
I intend to fight.
Then you draw a general court.
Draw it. I demand it. And right now, Commodore Stone, right now.
I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. He's confident. If you remember something the way it happened, yeah. Hey,
It's been
15 years?
4 years, 7
Oh.
months, and an odd number of days.
Not long.
Not that I'm...
We haven't changed a bit.
Things have changed for you, haven't they? I'm a lawyer in the judge advocate's office, remember?
No, she's a lawyer. She could represent him.
You're taking it very lightly.
The confidence of an innocent man.
That's not what the rumors indicate. Will you take some advice?
Does she want him to take the deal? No way. No way.
The prosecution will build its case on the basis of Kirk versus the computer. If your attorney tries to defend on that basis, you won't have a chance.
You, perhaps.
No, I'm busy.
You're busy.
Well,
Be able to.
Oh, is she going to try the other side of the case? Is that... That's a great wrinkle. The woman he once loved. Now, pitting up against him in a court of law. Kirk versus the machines. Checkmate. You gotta bluff him, Kirk. Gotta bluff the machine. What could... See, here's the problem. From my perspective. All these people on the starbase, if they are just people on the starbase and not from the Enterprise, all of the ones that are friends with Finney, including his daughter, could have nothing to do with this, because Spock got the log from the ship. Spock is, as far as we're concerned, the only person who's... He handed it to Stone, unless Stone tampered with it, and that's it. So if there was tampering done, it would have had to have been done on the ship by somebody else. But we don't know anybody who fits that description. There are no suspects for that sort of tampering. Could Kirk have made a mistake? Sure. He could have remembered the events wrong. Maybe he thinks he went to Red Alert when he only actually went to Yellow Alert. But because it's a TV show, and because it's Star Trek, and because it's Kirk, I'm 100% convinced he went to Red Alert and it went down the way he said it went, regardless of what we see in the courtroom. But it leaves me at a loss for what actually happened, how we got into this situation. Finney had it out for him. Are we sure Finney's dead? Was he like what do we mean by jettison, by the way? Floating by himself in space without a helmet? Could we have just gone and got him? Got him?
If there's any way they can do it, they'll slap you down hard and permanently for the good of the service.
Yeah.
You still haven't made any recommendation.
Samuel T. Cogley, attorney at law.
Cogley.
You still haven't told me how you know so much about what the prosecution's going to do.
I am the prosecution.
The twist in the tail, Kirk.
And I have to do my very best to have you slapped down hard.
But he didn't do it! God damn it. Hey, Cogley. Oh, I think I know him.
You, Kirk?
Look at all these books.
Well, the computer takes less space.
You.
I never use it.
Why not?
I've got my own system. Books, young man. Books, thousands of them. This is where the law is. Not in that homogenized, pasteurized, synthesized.
Okay. He seems like a good guy to have on your side.
Need a lawyer?
I'm afraid so.
Oh, we're already here. Nice bell. Yeah, we get it.
Charge culpable negligence on star date
boomerang.
2945.7, Captain Kirk did cause loss of life of Records Officer Lieutenant Commander Finney. What is the plea?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Not guilty.
I call Mr. Spock.
Spock will just say the facts the way they are. He won't embellish. He won't help nor hinder. He'll just...
Service rank, Lieutenant Commander.
It is possible for a computer to malfunction, is it not?
Sure.
Affirmative.
Do you know of any malfunction which has caused an inaccuracy in the Enterprise computer?
Negative.
But we have just been through an ion storm, right? And is it possible that the ion storm could have disrupted some of the ones and zeros on the computers of the ship? I highly doubt that's the case, but we have literally just been through something that has caused us to have to bring our ship in for repairs. So it's a pretty big... It's not like we're just driving in space. This is how Sulu drives. Space normal speed. He whistles as well. It's really annoying. Kirk's always like, stop it, Sulu, stop your friggin' whistling. You know? Kind of tuneless. He does it just to wind him up. Just to wind him up. Because Kirk doesn't allow him to have swords or guns on the bridge. For some reason. I don't know. Some reason. Anyway, where was I going? Oh yeah, the ion storm.
Now the star
But the
date...
computer is inaccurate.
Yeah, well,
It reports that the jettison button was pressed before the red alert, and that is impossible.
Were you watching him the exact moment he pressed the jettison button?
No, I was occupied.
Then how can you dispute the finding of the log?
I know the captain. He is in...
Please instruct the witness not to speculate.
I was all wrong. I was completely wrong. Remember when I was saying Spock will be of no help, either for or against? He won't embellish. He'll just be all about the facts and nothing else. He's going out. Well, he's using his knowledge of the captain. He's like me. I know, Kirk. There's no way it didn't go down. It went down a different way. I've been through 20 episodes. I know how this goes. What do all the little... This poses actually for all the little things on there. They're like little badges. Do they... In lore, do they stand for stuff? All the little colours? Because they all have different ones, you know? Spock's is in a shape. It's actually quite cool. But I wonder if it's just random. Or if they actually mean something.
If I let go of a hammer on a planet that has a positive gravity, I need not see it fall to know that it has, in fact, fallen. It is impossible for Captain Kirk to act out of panic or malice.
Yeah.
It is not his nature.
Thank you.
Oh, I love the dramatic
Your
music.
witness, Mr. Cogley?
No questions.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Do you wish to cross-examine Mr. Cogley?
No questions.
You may step
Oh,
down.
is he going to say that to everybody? That would be kind of funny. Kirk will be like, what are you doing? Cogley, you're not doing anything. He brings out a book at the end. He's like, checkmate.
Doctor, you are on the record an expert in psychology, especially space psychology.
Space psychology.
I know something about it.
Is it possible that Lieutenant Finney blamed Kirk for the incident?
It's possible.
Blamed him for being passed over for promotion?
Sure.
Is it normal for a person to return affection for hatred?
No.
Do we not tend to at first resent and then actively dislike the person who hates us?
Speculation,
Hypothetically.
Your Honor.
Would not Captain Smith begin to hate Lieutenant Commander Jones once he learned that Lieutenant Commander Jones hated and detested him?
Not Captain Kirk.
Any normal human, Doctor, is it possible?
Nah, Kirk's not
He's
normal.
not that kind of a man.
Is it theoretically possible, Doctor?
Yes.
Thank you. Your witness, Mr. Cogley.
I love that. Her point is that it's theoretically possible. That was the whole point of bringing it in the dock. She's establishing motive for... She doesn't need motive. I mean... What do we need here? We have the computer log. We either trust that or we don't. Right? The computer log has the facts. And we either trust that it has the facts or we don't. Now she can establish a motive for why Kirk might do it. Why he might perjure himself, why. But I feel like the big trump card is is this evidence? This evidence watertight, or is it not? Because everything else is just, oh, Kirk might have found out that the guy hated him, and he might have hated him back, and therefore a captain might have killed one of his crew because of a petty disagreement they had. Or a petty antagonistic relationship. Don't you think there are better ways to do that? I guess in the heat of a moment, you know, he could have just gone to Red Alert and jettisoned him immediately, you know. If he intended to kill him, instead of lying about the Red Alert, he could have just called Red Alert and pressed the button. You know, if you're going to press the button anyway, hey, Red Alert, everybody. I called the Red Alert, and I gave him until the last second, and then I jettisoned. That's one of my counter arguments to her argument about the motive and the. Sure, he might have had motive, but aren't there better ways to have done it if he did have that motive? Maybe she would argue that it was just in the heat of the battle, heat of the situation. He was overwhelmed, and he was overcome with this dislike for this crew member, his disregard for that guy's life. Yellow alert, red alert, orange alert, I don't care, I'm pressing the button. You know? Maybe he was just trying to order coffees. Maybe the jettison and the coffee button are side by side. You know, sometimes you just want a coffee. But hey, look, I like that both Spock and McCoy have testified to the character of Kirk. That he just didn't do it because that's not who he is. And who else you got? Bring in the next person.
No questions.
He is going to do it for everybody.
Step down.
Is Kirk going to get on the stand?
The truth is, I've been holding back till we get this preliminary business out of the way. I'd like to call Captain Kirk to the stand.
Straight away.
Commendations, palm leaf of Axonar Peace Mission, Grand Kite Order of Tactics, Class of Excellence, Prentaris Ribbon of Commendation,
You've got a lot of...
classes first and second.
May it please the court.
What?
The prosecution concedes the inestimable record of Captain Kirk.
Play it. We let everybody else get their thing read out.
Awards of Valor, Medal of Honor.
I think that's enough. I wouldn't want to slow things up too much. Was there indeed a red alert?
Yes, sir, there was.
I called it myself.
Charges of malice have been raised. There was no malice. I did exactly what had to be done. Exactly when it should have been done.
Would you do it again?
Given the same circumstances,
Of course you would.
I would do the same thing without hesitation. Because the steps I took were absolutely necessary if I were to save my ship. And nothing is more important than my ship.
Yeah, not even killing Finney, who I hated. I hated that guy so much. Captain, you're still on the record. Hated that guy so much.
I must invite the attention of the court to this visual extract from the Enterprise computer
Oh,
log.
a visual one. Are we going to see the
What you are about to
yellow,
see
red alert?
is precisely what took place on the Enterprise bridge.
You know what we really need? We need the Telosians. Don't we? If we want to see what really happened on the ship. Are you still recording? What's the range? Their range isn't that great. I think. Although, no, hang on. Wait a second. We're on Starbase 11, aren't we? And that's where we were when they... oh, I don't want to spoil that episode. But their range significantly extends, potentially encompassing Starbase 11, is what I'll say about that. And, yeah, we could use your help. Buddies, you said if I was ever in a jam, to come calling. You didn't say that. You said something about you hope my reality is as satisfactory as Pike's illusion. Shut up. I need your help, big brains. Why don't you help me? If anybody doesn't want to be spoiled, I am going to spoil that episode right now, so skip ahead 20 seconds to be safe. You're good. Right, quickly. They made that commander guy. You know, he didn't get on the shuttlecraft. So their range is to at least Starbase 11. You know, to make that. Hello, everybody, you're back. I spoiled that crap out of the menagerie. Spoiled it. I spoiled it good. Anyway, we haven't seen... let's get back to the TV. It looks legitimate.
Meteorology reports ion storm upcoming, Captain.
Yellow alert.
Attention, Commander Finney. Report to pod for reading on ion plates.
Stand by for alert status, Mr. Spock.
Yellow alert.
Acknowledged.
Reverse.
Oh, did he press it? Oh, where? Where? His right hand? Oh, it's right next to the alert button.
Captain Kirk is now signaling a yellow alert.
This is... we have to talk about this, by the way.
Finney here, Captain.
Make it fast, Ben. I may have to go to red alert.
Affirmative.
That guy. That guy was hilarious.
Stand by to get out of there, Ben.
Aye, aye, sir.
Steady as she goes, Mr. Hanson.
Freeze that.
There it is. Plain as day. Yellow alert. He pressed the button.
The log plainly shows the defendant's finger pressing the jettison button. Not red alert, but simply yellow alert.
Plain as day. This is the strongest evidence. She should have led with that, maybe. Maybe it's fine the way she did it.
But that's not the way it happened.
Right, now that we've come to a natural pause, I love that next to yellow alert and red alert, you know, on his 4-button thing, jettison pod is third down. Just for this episode. I don't think we've seen those buttons being used before. But now that we have them, and because the story involves jettisoning a pod, they have the button right there under red alert. You could just accidentally hit it. During turbulence, you could see how easy it is just to press a button? That guy who was doing that just a few seconds earlier, he could have accidentally grabbed the chair and jettisoned Ben off into that pod. Can't we go get the pod? Maybe it's too dangerous to get it once it's been jettisoned. Maybe there's a self-destruct. Once something gets jettisoned, it also explodes. Probably too dangerous. But yet, this is the strongest evidence. Unless this has to be wrong in some way, or Kirk is at least guilty of perjury, or misstating what he remembers, or remembering incorrectly. That's the way I would phrase it. This is why she was talking about. This is why she was building the other side of the case, because there's two charges, isn't there? One of lying, and the other is of, I don't know. I think there's a bigger charge of deliberately killing that guy, and the reasons he might have done that. So we need to establish not only did he do it, but did he do it purposely? Yeah, that makes sense. What's the solution to this? I don't know. Where are those records kept? Who has access to them? Who can tamper with them? It's done automatically, but can somebody jiggle with it? Who has the expertise to do that? And barring anybody else, barring any other suspects, I feel like Finney himself, but how he couldn't have wanted to kill himself. Like, that's a weird way to get your revenge on Kirk, isn't it? I'm gonna frame him for my own murder. That's weird, isn't it? Like, you could see it if he was warped in a twisted way. You know? Sick of taking orders from that guy. I could have been a captain. Well, that's it. The second I have a chance to get him, I'm gonna, if I have to kill myself to do it, I'll do it. That's wild. That's a wild theory. But it's the only one I've got, because there's nobody else There's no other characters on the ship. No? That could have helped him or had motive. We haven't met them. There could be, but we haven't met them. But aren't there better ways? Just say Finney wanted to take the captain down. Surely he would have wanted to. Not do it in a way that doesn't get yourself killed. Get him to kill somebody else. Get him to do it, jettison somebody else. Finney? Then you get to gloat. Then you get to see it happen yourself. You get to sit in the courtroom even, maybe. Watch justice be served. Don't do it yourself. Anyway, what's this lawyer going to do? This lawyer, I'm waiting for this lawyer to open a book. to find something. I don't know how he's going to... He hates the computers, right? Oh, he hates the computers. I just had an epiphany. He trusts the written word over a computer record. Is there any physical written output that comes out like on a ticker tape or something along with it? The digital record could be tampered with. Someone can go, oh, but there's a physical copy of something that blends two aspects of the episode that I didn't know needed blending.
Captain's log, stardate 2949.9. I suspect even my attorney has begun to doubt me. 2 days ago, I had staked anything on my judgment. Is it possible that when the moment came...
He's down himself. I guess when you see it.
No. I know what I did.
I've run a complete megalite survey on the computer.
Oh, what?
I'll tell you what you found. Nothing, right?
Further instructions?
No? Who knows? You may be able to beat your next captain at chess. Work out.
The chess references, I love them. Careful with those buttons, Spock.
Chess.
Did Spock have an epiphany? About chess?
Jamie, this is Lieutenant Commander Finney's daughter.
I realize it wasn't his fault. I won't make any trouble.
No.
Glad you don't blame me anymore for what happened.
I was just so upset that night. I never realized how close you and Dad had been until I read through some of the papers he wrote. Letters to Mother and me.
Oh, he wrote letters?
Ruining Jim won't change what's happened.
That's very commendable, Miss Finney, but most unusual.
It is unusual.
I have to go and change. You ready?
Does he suspect her of something?
But I may be getting ready.
What is your brain? What are you doing, Spock? Playing chess?
Level right.
Well, I had to see it to believe it. They're about to lop off the captain's...
Do you think Spock is testing the computer? Seeing if he can beat the computer at chess? Is that what we're doing? We're testing the fallibility or infallibility of... Oh, I'm pausing it so many times to talk about possibilities. I'm gonna hit one eventually. I've been missing all along, but are we testing to see if the computer is making any errors? Maybe I was right the first time. The ion storm scrambled some bits here and there. I love the way Bones comes in every episode, accusing Spock of not having a heart about the current situation when he's actually working on the current situation. I love it.
And you're sitting here playing chess with a computer.
That is true. I've just won my 4th game.
That's impossible.
Can't beat Stockfish.
Rook to king's pawn 4.
See, simple checkmate.
Checkmate. I programmed it myself for chess some months ago. The best I should have been able to obtain was a draw.
Mm-hmm.
Transporter room standby. We're beaming down.
I got an error in the computer. I love the way he programmed it himself. But couldn't you have gotten it wrong though, Spock? Couldn't your programming be at fault?
The board will entertain motions before delivering its verdict.
Okay.
For the prosecution.
Sir, the prosecution rests.
Counsel for the defense.
Sir,
Nothing, Cogley.
defense rests.
Before Spock jumps in with his new evidence, Cogley, what about all your books? I was waiting all episode for you to have something. And, he just rested his case. Good thing Spock came in. Use the boomerang, Spock. Turn this case All the way around.
Some new evidence has just been brought to my
We
attention.
got something.
Of what nature is this evidence?
Mr. Cogley is well known for his theatrics.
Counsels will kindly direct their remarks to the bench.
I'd be delighted to, sir.
It's a good one.
Human rights, the Bible, the Code of Hammurabi,
The what?
and of Justinian, Magna Carta, the Constitution of the United States.
He is theatrical.
The right to be confronted by the witnesses against him.
Yeah, including the computer.
The computer log of the Enterprise. And I ask this court adjourn and reconvene aboard that vessel.
Oh, we're going up.
My client has the right to face his accuser. And if you do not grant him that right, you have brought us down to the level of the machine.
That's right, dude. Kirk's gonna fight the machine in one-on-one, hand-to-hand combat.
General Court Martial has reconvened on board the Enterprise.
Great.
I personally programmed the computer for chess months ago. The best that could normally be hoped for would be stalemate after stalemate.
Right.
And yet I beat the machine 5 times. Someone adjusted the programming and therefore the memory banks of that computer.
It would be beyond the capabilities of most men. Is that true?
The captain, myself, and the records officer.
For the first time in a long time, I feel like I completely missed a trick here. This guy is the records officer. The records officer. The guy basically in charge of the very thing that's incriminating Kirk. This guy. The tampering would have had to have happened afterwards, right? So this guy isn't dead. He wasn't jettisoned. He probably, he set all this thing up. I don't know where he is. He's on the ship somewhere. He's hiding out in a container. He's taking Kirk down from beyond the grave. I don't think he's dead. I was thinking maybe earlier in the episode, hey, maybe he set something up. He was gonna kill himself and blame Kirk for it and get his ultimate revenge in death. No, he's the records out. He tampered with all this stuff. Right? Now, he could have accidentally killed himself in the process, but there's no reason, there's no way, there's no need for that. It's not like we confirmed, I don't think we confirmed his death. Because the pod was jettisoned, he's assumed dead. I believe that's the case. Who even knows if we can't even be sure that maybe the last ship doesn't even have pods, for all we know. This guy's just altering everything. You know? He can do anything. He has access to that record, to the records of the whole ship. He could do anything he wants. You know? He should promote himself. Edit in a little ceremony where an admiral promotes him to captain. Here, Kirk, look. Watch this. I'm in command now. Are we going to see? We might see him. He could be dead. Still. But he's definitely the person who did it. He's got to be alive, right? I feel like now it makes sense that he's alive. I don't know. This is a fun episode. This is a fun little mystery episode where you're trying to piece it together and trying to think of who had the motivation, who had the means. But the whole, like they mentioned it earlier in the bar at the start of the episode, the guy's like, hey, I hear there's an opening for a records officer. I didn't take it in. I was so frustrated with those guys blaming Kirk. They could be hiding them. I don't know. But how was he supposed to get away with this? Just say he is alive and just say, Kirk, everything went to plan. He is alive. He took Kirk down. Kirk's no longer the captain. What does that guy do? With the rest of his life? Reinvent himself? Go the Kodos route? I don't know. I said there'd be references, didn't I? To previous episodes? Gotta be careful. You gotta be careful.
Our records officer was Lieutenant Commander Finney.
Will you tell the steps you took to find Mr. Finney after the storm?
Yeah.
I instituted a Phase 1 search.
It presupposes, does it not, that a man wishes to be found?
Ah,
Could a man evade such a search?
easily, I would say.
Possibly.
I knew you'd come in handy, Cogley, eventually.
I submit to you that Lieutenant Commander Ben Finney is not dead.
Oh, he's Lieutenant Commander, like Spock.
I have an errand ashore of vital importance to the purpose of this court, and I will return.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Is he going to get his daughter?
Our impulse engines have been shut down. We'll maintain orbit by momentum. We hope to be finished long before that.
Uh-oh. We got a ticking clock, people. You know what orbits are like.
Gentlemen, this computer has an auditory sensor. It can, in effect, hear sounds. We can increase that capability on the order of 1 to the 4th power.
Great. Wait, 1 to the 4th power? Did you say 1 to the 4th power? Kirk, did you say 1 to the 4th? I need to re-listen to that. Yep. 1 to the 4th power, he said. How about 1 to the 10th power? Kirk, how about, do you think we could risk going 1 to the 10th power? Do you think it has that capability? That's a little math joke. A little math joke for those mathematicians out there.
Every sound occurring on the ship.
Like that one?
All right, Mr. Spock.
That's all our heartbeats. Could you dial it back a bit, Spock?
Turn it down a little.
Thanks, Spock.
We'll use this white sound device to mask out each person's heartbeat.
Okay. This is fun.
Mr. Spock?
Do you have a heart to say something? Say something. You didn't say anything. How's our
Lastly, myself.
How's our orbit doing, dude?
That's all of us.
There's one more person. I think it's time to drop all charges. What do you think? Go find Lieutenant Commander Finney.
Finney?
And toss him out the airlock. Put him in a pod.
In or near engineering.
Sam Cogley had gone ashore to bring Jamie Finney on board. We both felt that Jamie's
The daughter.
presence would make Finney easier to handle.
Ben! Ben Finney!
The ruse is up, Ben. Why is Kirk doing this himself?
The orbit is beginning to decay.
Oh.
Hello, Captain.
Oh, he's got a good voice.
I'm glad you're alive.
You're relieved because you think your career is saved.
That's right.
But you're wrong.
What do you mean? The jig's up, isn't it? Is there a second jig? Oh, there he is.
You all conspired against me. You ruined me.
He looks wild.
But your ship.
What about my ship?
I tapped out your primary energy circuits.
Why kill innocent people?
Officers and gentlemen.
Your daughter's on the ship, though.
Gentlemen, if you'll please hurry to the transporter.
Mr. Spock.
The court has not yet reached a verdict.
Hey, I appreciate that, Commodore Stone. I appreciate your your adherence to, you know, the law. I know you've got passion for it. But the ship is about to crash into a planet, and we can just use the transporters to get off before, we're going to lose the ship. It's going to be an expensive wreck. But we can reconvene, can't we? This court on the planet. The surface. Back where we started. You brought us up here. We can go back down. You don't need to be all... The integrity of the court is... if Kirk's staying, we're staying. We owe him that much. Anyway, we've brought his daughter up. It'll be fine. I don't know if Finney can fix anything, but it'll be fine. We need Scotty is what we need. To give her a bit of a push. Keep us going. What's with all these orbits degrading in this show? We need Sulu up here. Sulu would know what to do. Anyway, goddamn Stone, you and your sense of honor and decency.
Hear this witness out.
Very well, sir.
Hear this witness out.
Is Jamie included in that deal?
Yeah, Jamie's coming. She's up here too.
She's on board by now.
Why did you do that?
Get him. He's not stronger than a Gorn. You can get him. One chop, Kirk, one chop. The old-fashioned way.
Beaten and sobbing,
Now what?
Finney told me where he had sabotaged the prime energy circuits. With luck, I would be able to effect repairs before our orbit decayed completely.
This is an odd little narration, you know? I feel like it was added in post. Yeah, just yank it out, Kirk. That'll do it.
All secure, sir.
Good job, Uhura. Saving the day as usual.
I rule this court to be dismissed.
Absolutely no objections.
Yeah, we're all good.
How long will it be this time before I see you?
Another 4 years, maybe?
That depends on the stars.
Sam Cogley asked me to give you something special.
Is it a book?
Just a book. Sam says that makes it special, though. He's defending Ben Finney. He says he'll win.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised.
Do you think it would cause a complete breakdown if the lowly lieutenant kissed a starship captain on the bridge of his ship?
Oh, hey, we could get into the turbolift right now.
See, no change. Discipline goes on.
Very professional. See you later. We'll never see her again. Don't tell me if we do. Don't tell me. That guy was just standing there while they were kissing, and then when they stopped kissing, he walked off.
She's a very good lawyer.
Obviously. Indeed, she is.
Speaking of good lawyers, we need to talk about Cogley and his books, and how great a lawyer he is because of that. So, for all his... We built up this lawyer, and I'm primed from seeing TV and movies to when we got this eccentric lawyer, he's going to have some sort of insight or strategy or technique, unorthodox perhaps. Like at the start of this trial when he just didn't... No questions, no questions, no questions. You felt, as the audience, he's going somewhere with this. This is leading to something. He's got some trick that he's going to use his books to... He's going to use his books to figure it out. That's not what happened. He was going to lose the case. If it wasn't for Spock having an insight, trusting the captain didn't lie, trusting the character of the captain and the memory of the captain, he went and questioned the computer. He's like, well, the captain's not lying, then the computer must be lying in some way. So he played chess against the computer and, you know, that's the evidence that swayed the court in the end. Otherwise, that lawyer, Cogley, would have lost the case. And he would have done basically nothing. So he's an interesting character in this episode, because up to a certain point, the reason he's recommended, and at the end, he's going to be representing Finney, and Kirk's like, oh, I've no doubt he's going to win. He might just pull it off. But what are we basing that on? That he's kooky? You know? I feel like there's a build-up that was never paid off with him. Now sure, he does figure out that Finney's still alive after the evidence about the records being altered has come to light. He's like, well, who has access to those records? Who could do it? Captain Spock and Finney himself. And then everybody can figure that out, you know? So, now he does have this impassioned speech, if you recall, where he's trying to get them to reconvene on board the ship, he's quoting the Bible and the books of ancient Egypt and the Declaration of Independence, and he's quoting all sorts of things. He's making loads of references. Not very relevant. All he had to say was, look, we've got really good evidence that Kirk didn't do it. We need you to come to the ship so we can show you. We don't technically need to go to the ship to show you, but it's helpful for the third act, you know? There's going to be a whole cat and mouse thing, and there's going to be a cool heartbeat thing. Just go with us, will you? But he makes his speech, but it's not very... I think his character... Something was lost between the script and the shooting of the episode. I feel like... And maybe I need to rewatch it. Because I was singularly unimpressed by him. I was ready to be so impressed. I was ready for him to be my favourite character of the episode. Next thing. Finney's mistake. Finney has access to he's the records officer. He deals with the records. He knows how to edit the records. He has access. But the one thing he wasn't counting on was that in the process of altering the log, he would somehow affect Spock's chess program that was like, they were next to each other in core memory. So when he was editing the log, it also edited the logic the computer was using to make chess moves. That's highly speculatively coincidental. Why, it could have... The replicator system could have been affected instead, or the sound could have been changed, or maybe the turbo lift doors wouldn't quite work quite right. But we could just put that down to ionic interference, or the damage they sustained during the whole reason they were at space dock. But hey, look, Spock. The one thing Spock chose to test the computer with was the thing that we figured it all out with. So, yeah. I was all sorts of thrown left sideways with the whole thing this episode. I was throwing so many things out there that some of them did hit, but some of them were... I was using information that pointed in certain directions, but didn't quite hit. Yeah, until the reveal of him being the records officer the second time, I couldn't reconcile. I couldn't predict what was going to happen. Like, I thought Finney was the only one who had proper motive and opportunity to do something, but then I was confused about his death. And then the whole jettisoning the pod thing, I was also confused about that. That's another little interesting thing, actually. He was in the pod. We jettisoned the pod. And then Kirk is asked, after the event, after that happened, did you look for him? We looked for him on the ship. We conducted a full search of the ship for him. But shouldn't we be looking for that pod? What happened to... Where did the pod just goes out of the ship, right? Was it the pod destroyed? Maybe the pod was destroyed, or it's irrecoverable. Because I was curious. Did they find that pod again? Did they try to get him back? Did they establish that the pod was destroyed? Did we have proof that he had died? Turns out we didn't. We didn't know that he was dead. We just assumed he was dead because he wasn't on the ship, and the pod is assumed destroyed. I love the button placement. Yellow alert, red alert, jettison pod. I love it. There's a fourth button. What does that do? It's the coffees button. Until it's something else, it's the coffees button. I wonder if... I don't think they put in a fourth option. There's 5 buttons. There's 5 buttons. I think there might be 5 buttons on either side of his chair. We've got a yellow light, a red light, and a green light, and then two white lights. Maybe we'll get more... One of them has to be some sort of communication, like talking to engineering, or talking to Scotty, talking to the doc. One of them has to be Scotty, right? It has to be. On some side, I'd put that over. I'd have that as my number 1 button. Definitely. Maybe number 2 after coffees. Maybe. I don't even drink coffee. But on this bridge, you have to eat the little green little apple things, and you have to drink coffee. Daughter was an interesting character to have I liked her passion early on. She's not explicitly supposed to be a child, but they kind of dress her that way. And the actress looks older. I tried to look up the actress's age, but it's not available anywhere, as far as I can see. But then it never becomes a thing. We're not supposed to. It's not like Miri, where we're supposed to buy these kids as being 12 or 13, so it's not a big deal. But she was used at the end to get Vinny to help us restore the ships. We got a ticking clock again with the orbit, with the power. But I think we could have done with the scene with her beaming on the ship, or just being on the bridge, or even saying something to her father in engineering. I think we could have done with something like that. Because we just don't see her. We don't see her or Cogley. After he goes to get her, it's just, they're done. They're done. I like the other lawyer, his old girlfriend from the past. I like that she wasn't super young. Obviously, I don't know if they went to the academy together. They hadn't seen each other in 4 years, but she was of a certain age that seemed right for Kirk, you know? Which isn't usually the case, I would say. You know what? I take that back. There hasn't been such a huge... It isn't always super young women with Kirk, or with Bones. I thought Bones was going to try it with her at the start. You know, he'd had a few brandies. That guy drinks so fast. He walked in with a drink. Hey, barkeep. Exactly what I brought from the ship. More of that, please. Kirk, don't listen to them. Another brandy, please. Don't listen to those guys. Hey, look, your old girlfriend. He was trying it on, I think. A little bit. Maybe trying to be smooth. Maybe. Maybe he got lucky, I don't know. We'll leave that for fan fiction writers to decide. The twist that she was working the opposite end of the case, that's me having... I feel like I've seen that in other Star Trek, you know, after this one. So that wasn't too surprising. But she really tried, you know? She tried her best. She wasn't having any of that. When Kirk was getting all these awards read out, she really objected to that. As if that would somehow bias this jury of like commanders and ambassadors or admirals and whoever they were. They're not going to say, oh, that guy got a Medal of Valor. Maybe he didn't do it. They know all the facts. They know all the facts. They're not going to be swayed by... Well, maybe they would. Maybe they would. I'm just saying. I love that when we revisited Starbase 11, that we didn't forget that we had been there before. That it was the same planet, the same place, same skyline, the same feel. I remember mentioning the color scheme was particularly cool in the menagerie for the indoor shots, and they did more. We got to have even more rooms this time. So it's my favorite Starbase so far, for sure. But I like that. Cogley was played by someone whose face is so familiar, but yet I don't think I've seen him in anything in particular. I saw him in an Alfred Hitchcock Presents episode, but I don't think that's where I know him from. I don't know. It's a strange one. Maybe he looks like someone maybe he just looks like someone. He's got a very distinctive look to him, though, doesn't he? Oh, this is an interesting... I'm reading about the episode now. This is a very interesting line from the Wikipedia on this episode. That Cogley, that actor, had difficulty memorizing his long dramatic appeals to the court. many of his speeches in the script are not present in the aired version. This was the first thing I talked about at the end of the episode, that his character doesn't deliver on the promise that he's built up to be. And these missing speeches, this missing script, this missing pages of the script might have given us an idea for the kind of lawyer he is and what kind of insights he can have and how he can, his dramatics and how he can, win cases. Because we didn't see that. As far as I'm concerned, the only thing he impassionately argued for was for us to reconvene on board the ship, which is nothing really. So that is very interesting. I'd like to know what was in those unaired. The actor had difficulty memorizing them. Maybe there was just problems with the acting, problems with the scenes. They didn't come out as well as people would have liked, so they just cut them. Wow. And some of those that were filmed frequently cut away from him to court and spectator reactions. So maybe you just couldn't memorize all the legal mumbo jumbo they gave him to do. Ew. Ah, the first episode to refer to Starfleet and Starfleet Command. Okay. Wait a second, it says it's also the first appearance of a starbase in the series. What do you mean? No, it isn't. We were here. Not only is it not the first mention of it, we were literally here in episode 11, The Menagerie. Do you remember? Do you remember? Maybe this was produced first and aired second. Maybe. So maybe when we come back in the Menagerie, maybe that's the second time we've been here. I think what the episode did well in this episode is, but it continually does well and continually reinforces, is the character of Kirk and the friendship he has with Bones and McCoy. And their confidence in him. That they're willing to testify. Having not seen his actions, they're willing to testify to the fact that there's no way he did what you're saying he did. Even if there's actual proof presented in video and audio form, we're not going to accept it. If he says it went down one way, he went down one way. They're family. Those three are family. And Uhura as well. She's too busy making sure the ship doesn't crash and keeping that shit together on the bridge. But she's family too. Zulu was not in this episode, nor was Scotty. When the daughter came in to plead for Kirk not to be tried, and to get the, she was forgiving Kirk, and that scene, I thought the lawyer was figuring something out. I thought maybe she had something to do with something. I thought it was supposed to be implied that there was a shady aspect to her innocently coming to apologize and to smooth things over. I thought there was a hint of that in that scene, but we didn't get that further from that. That didn't grow into anything. Maybe in an alternate episode, in an alternate reality, maybe she received a little transmission from her father. Like, I love you. Always remember that. And then she pieced it together that he wasn't dead, or that he set it all up or something. But no, nothing like that. It certainly wasn't a conscience of the king situation either. I like that Kirk and Spock's history with chess comes back into it. Kirk is joking with him that he'll have to find somebody, maybe he'll be able to beat the next guy. And that gives Spock the idea to, just chess in general, just to test the computer's capabilities, see if anything's weird. So that led to that. Also, the one thing I will say is that we know that stunt doubles and body doubles are used all over the show, but in this particular episode, they're so obviously not Kirk. You know, I don't know about the other guy, but it's so obvious. And in scenes where you feel like there didn't need to be a stand-in for some of it. Now, some of the flips maybe, but I don't know. I feel like there was a better way to shoot it, maybe. But it was funny. I was like, that's not. Who is this guy fighting? Where did Kirk tag somebody in? That's not fair. Finney never had a chance. What do you think Cogley's arguing? How would you argue it if you were defending Finney? Maybe the testimony was right after all. Maybe he did try to jettison it. Like, Finney wasn't in that pod. But maybe Kirk did hate him. And we know that Kirk and Spock, they're capable of altering records too. They're also capable, with their friend, the Doctor, of drug-inducing a certain crew member to act all crazy and start confessing to things he never did. You could do something like that. You could say it's a conspiracy. I'm not sure how you can defend Finney without implicating Kirk, or, I'm not sure how you could get both of them to be completely innocent. You could certainly play one off against the other, though, if you put your mind to it. If you wanted to, twist it back the other way. He did look crazed when Kirk found him in engineering. Presumably he's been hiding and hasn't been sleeping or eating well. He just looked wild. All these years in Kirk's shadow. Lieutenant Commander, though, right? That's his rank? Yeah, Lieutenant Commander Ben Finney. And Spock was also named as Lieutenant Commander in this episode. So, great rank. Sure, you could have been captain by now, but you're doing okay, dude. You could be first officer on a ship soon. And then who knows what might happen. Just stop trying to be crazy, and you've got a nice daughter. She's well adjusted. Anyway, next episode is The Return of the Archons. We've never seen the Archons before, unless they're filming out of order. But they're returning. I presume it sounds like an alien race of some sort, doesn't it? They're back, and they mean business. What were those people in the Gorn episode that the pronunciation kept changing on? It wasn't the Metrons. They're not Archons. But it sounds more mysterious than I feel like we're going to be out in space. They sound like a super advanced race, but that's just me making up stuff. But yeah, come back next time for that. We'll have some fun. Have a great day wherever you are. And don't mix up your buttons. Don't put the coffee button next to the jettison pod button. That's going to get you into a heap of trouble, But if you do accidentally kill somebody that way, get your best friends together and concoct some sort of elaborate lie.